Hello my friends, how you feeling today? Welcome back to my channel. Today we continue to learn English communication sentence at the airport.
Here's your đây nè, here's your boarding pass. Boarding pass. Cái boarding pass là cái thẻ lên máy bay. Yeah. Here's your boarding pass là người ta đưa cái thẻ lên máy bay cho mình. Thì lúc đó mình cần chú ý đến cái gì? Ghế ngồi mình số mấy, rồi cổng ra là số mấy, chuyến bay là số như thế nào đó, phải đọc cái đó ở trong đầu hết.
Your seat number is 17C.
Your seat number, người ta thường lưu ý cho mình bằng cách đó, người ta cầm cái thẻ lên máy bay, người ta đánh khoanh tròn, người ta nói your seat number is 17C. Thì mình lưu ý cái chỗ là seat number, mình nhìn chỗ đó thôi rồi đọc sau cũng được ha. Rồi nhớ là seat number là số ghế của bạn, 17 là row, 17 là cái row, là cái hàng ghế đó các bạn, còn C là ngay cái ghế của mình nha.
Your flight is boarding at gate 10.
Rồi người ta cũng cầm cái thẻ boarding đó, người ta khoanh tròn cái chỗ gate ha. Mình nghe cái chữ gate là mình phải xác định được cái gate đó là gate 10, gate 1, gate 2, gate 20 ha. Your flight is boarding. Flight là chuyến bay, mà boarding là lên máy bay. Your flight is boarding at gate 10. Đó, chuyến bay của bạn thì lên máy bay tại cửa số 10 nha. Gate 10, nhớ gate 10.
Can I bring this item on the plane with me?
Nếu mình không chắc cái gì đó có thể mang được lên máy bay hay không, ví dụ như là gậy selfie chẳng hạn, thì lúc này các bạn có thể hỏi là can I bring this? Can I bring this? Can I bring this item? Item có thể nói từ item, có thể không. Can I bring this item on the plane with me? On the plane, plane, on the plane with me. Hỏi cho chắc ha, hỏi tại quầy đó luôn á, quầy check-in luôn. Tôi có thể mang cái này lên máy bay được không? Chứ đợi vô tới cổng an ninh là muộn rồi các bạn ha. Tới lúc đó nhiều khi người ta kêu mình quăng bỏ đó, và lúc đó mình bối rối, mình không biết xử lý làm sao. Có những cái đồ mấy triệu đồng lận mà họ nói cái này không được mang lên máy bay, mình cũng không biết làm sao luôn. Đó, cho nên đôi khi mình ngậm ngùi quăng bỏ cái đó. Dĩ nhiên mình có thể xin ra ngoài, mình gửi cái đó rồi mình quay lại mình lấy sau cũng được. Nhưng mà lỡ lần sau vô mà phải chờ nguyên một hàng dài mà mất cả tiếng đồng hồ mới vào được cái cổng đó thì sao các bạn ha. Cho nên là hỏi ngay tại quầy check-in hay hơn.
What time does boarding begin?
What time does boarding begin? Là mình, cái boarding là cái lên máy bay, thì mình hỏi là what time là cái giờ nào mà cái boarding nó bắt đầu. Does boarding begin? Thường đó các bạn, máy bay mình bay lúc 10 giờ thì thường lên máy bay là 30 phút trước giờ bay, thì người ta cho 30 phút đến 45 phút gì đó, và có lẽ 45 phút trước giờ bay thì người ta sẽ cho mình boarding, người ta sẽ cho mình lên máy bay. Thì cái quá trình lên máy bay như vậy nó cũng mất đôi khi cũng khoảng 30 phút, ví dụ như vậy đó.
Here's your boarding pass. Your seat number is 17C. Your flight is boarding at gate 10. Can I bring this item on the plane with me? What time does boarding begin?
Status, and even show his boarding pass. His hotel
that had the boarding pass in it.
False memories impressed.
Right.
Yeah.
And I had
create a fake boarding pass to present to my professor. I was in too deep.
Seat, and the guy immediately would have looked at his boarding pass and said, oh.
A paper boarding pass, you can ask the agent to verify that your information is correct at the counter. So you'll scan your boarding pass and then verify your identity using some kind of biometric. Typically,
took a picture of my boarding pass and chose to
have been examined before they issue the boarding pass.
flight, he did not print his boarding pass. And Ryanair, if you are not familiar, they're one of those.
Oh, and if you've forgotten your boarding pass, they can Please have your boarding pass out. We're heading on a journey.
There it is. I've checked in for my flight and I've got my boarding pass.
Well, Delta says
The person in seat number 7
Need to add your seat number to the form before you submit.
You enter the cabin and you find your seat number.
You will be given a specific seat number, and most of those exams.
I want you sitting every other seat, number 1 here, number 3 here, etc. Please pay attention because
When you hover your mouse over a seat, a small pop-up appears detailing the seat number, price, and any restrictions.
the jacket would be written your flight number and your seat number with a
In seat number 4 is Kobe Cotton.
Flight Victor, New Shepard is good.
Okay, everyone look at your seat number. If I call your number, come on.
Containing your seat number and name. The order you're sitting.
And sit in seat number 13?
I sat on during that first ride to Hogwarts, and I don't remember like which seat number I was
Saying in terms of institutional seat number 4, because in the gallery.
So your seat number is associated with the exam that you get. So it's very, very important that you sit in the right seat.
Other word, someone from seat number 7,850.
Binder, you signed in, referenced your flight number, showed your ID.
And your flight might end up costing twice as much.
I go through and figure your flight. You got
So Jeff, it looks like your flight to Brazil for the world
Company, you gotta get your flight when they leave, and
Terminal 7. If your flight is in Terminal 3, you'll be walking for 23 minutes.
if you got bumped off your flight because it was oversold. If you got bumped off your flight because it was oversold.
At your gate and you've missed your flight. You're...
to me, a maintainer is, can I be arrogant about it?
Your flight line handyman, not like a grease monkey, you know.
Right? You could do things like change your flight or maybe take a bag with you and not get charged.
I was going to this thing in Vancouver. He said, if they canceled your flight, I said, why would they do that?
nearby, continue your flight into aviation.
Now boarding at gate is now boarding at gate number 7.
Diego boarding at gate 42A. Boarding at gate B1.
His absence when they presented their tickets at the boarding gate? The answer to this
Now boarding at a gate that couldn't possibly be first.
Or even see people receiving their duty-free purchases at the gate before boarding their flight. Though the concept of duty-free...
And I arrived at my boarding gate. At the boarding gate, you'll be greeted by someone who will ask you to show them your documents. Thank you.
Your flight leaves from gate 19 and boarding begins at 11.
Thank you.
Your flight leaves from gate 19 and boarding begins at 11:20.
11:20.
At the boarding gate. So those are the kinds of people that we're talking about. You get to the airport and then at the boarding gate on the other side of...
about it, and One, I dreamed that I was in the boarding gate at Heathrow as the panic.
Denver and New York is now boarding at gate number 7.
What should I...
Your flight leaves from gate 19 and boarding begins at 11:20.
Bring different things to the table, of course. Different people bring different things to the table, of course.
But also the process that's required to bring about peace in Syria.
Is to bring our enemies to justice or bring justice to our enemies.
That I think can bring us progress, not just around the world.
Us to bring that very same disruption directly into government. Public health is to bring these two worlds together.
But you know, and bring them into this conversation of how to craft a city that is
uncomfortable. You bring it up at a dinner party or in a workplace environment, it is literally the conversation.
Bring it back in the United States. Work and knowing that we have a federal and IDEM mandate on storm.
Invention with a small sun, and the caption alter idem, meaning the fireplace was a no.
There really was what we call in contract law consensus ad idem. There never really was an.
Aren't we ad idem?
Yes.
The service has a certain kind of semantic called idempotent semantics.
Has to be somehow in correlation with the item, the same as.
Back to the whole board of trustees, is it also your wish to itemize?
Buy a plane ticket and end up in California. They are there in my house.
The problems of terrorism and dysfunction and chaos, along with plane crashes and
got off a plane, and there's this guy wearing the jeans.
I heard the screams on the phone and the plane going in. And our employee...
Car, bus, boat, truck, plane on the planet, and Al Gore didn't mention it. And he was so honest. He looked me in the eye and he said,
Condition the mood that emerges. And so the reality, the epistemological
plane isn't a recipe for how to fly a plane. It's a reminder of the key.
Everyone wonders about the next plane.
Each streaking dot represents a passenger plane, and by turning air traffic data.
And this is a plane with spinning cylinders instead of wing.
In 1996, a British Airways plane flew from New York to London in a record-breaking...
Because you're still walking around on a plane, a bus.
And they start sprouting and begin to take on a...
And these radical proposals would begin to dismantle the VA health.
And of course, if people are less poor to begin with, they're less likely to get...
moment. But when you begin to realize that your life is that dash, hey, born 1970, passed away on...
Whereas liberals begin with the individual.
And they will immediately begin to mansplain to you your
shape. We begin to see Fibonacci's spiral. The spiral in and up.
You're breathing right now. It tells you that someday you can begin your journey.
I want to begin by saying what a pleasure it was.
Locked my mind to begin to think of possibility in my own life. And the best way I know how to explain this is there was something about knowing that at one moment I had a family, I had my mother, and then I lost everything. And I realized life changed pretty rapidly.
and begin to create amazing nano devices.
Security. Both you and Donald Trump begin as the